Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of the YFO podcast, The Young Football Opinion, where we discuss everything football from a younger point of view. Joining me this week, as ever, are Dom Riley.
Hello.
And Jack Stroudley.
All right.
So, we're recording this on Monday, which means 3 days till the World Cup. Who's excited?
Football's coming on.
Football's coming home.
Buzzing.
Say this, yet when we come to the predictions, guarantee neither of you are saying England. I'm disappointed.
Guarantee neither are you. So.
Guarantee you still want fucking Jack Wilshere in the squad. That's your golden ball prediction.
What, you were telling me Jack Wilshere shouldn't be in the squad?
Let's not start this now.
Let's not go.
Right, so let's start. Jack, who's going to win the World Cup?
France.
And for what reason?
They have the best squad in the entire competition. They've got the most depth in the entire competition. They are just a phenomenal squad with lots of different dynamics to whoever they're facing. And I just can't see them not winning it, to be honest with you.
Straight away there, I'm going to disagree with your point about depth, because I believe the team that World Cup have better depth, and that's England.
Shut up.
Oh, my God.
On a serious note about the depth, I disagree that France have the best depth in the tournament. I reckon the team with the best depth and the team that are going to win the World Cup is Spain.
I just disagree on both.
Well, because Spain, not only do they undoubtedly have the best five in De Gea, Alba, Piqué, Ramos and Carvajal, the depth they have in their midfield options, if I just read them out to you, they've got Sergio Busquets, Isco, Thiago Alcantara, David Silva, Andres Iniesta, Saul Niguez and Koke. That's by far the best midfield depth in the whole of the World Cup. Now, France probably, along with Brazil and maybe Argentina, possibly even Belgium up there, have a huge array of attacking talent. But the quality possessed in Spain's midfield, and then the pace they've got out wide with the options of Asensio, Aspas, Vasquez and Rodrigo, all of them will play, because obviously we know Spain, they play beautiful football, they play through the midfield. And with an outlet of Diego Costa and the back five that they have, I just think the balance, I can't see it being beaten by any squad in this World Cup.
First of all, I think you have to say that 2 years ago they had the exact same squad, pretty much, with the exception of like Morata, and they got knocked out quarterfinals, but Italy didn't even make it to the World Cup. Second of all, yeah, they have a lot of good midfield players, but you can't fit all of them in one team. And if you look at the way they play, in that very fluid Spanish style, look in that team, they have literally no pace whatsoever in attack. At all. And don't get me wrong, obviously the quality of player is very, very high. But there is no way you can fit Busquets, Iniesta, Thiago, Isco, Asensio, Diego Costa, Saul, all these really good players, Isco as well, in the same team.
I don't think that point's valid, because when they won the World Cup in 2010, they didn't necessarily have that pace either. They had Torres and Villa up front, who weren't the most pacey.
Torres was.
He wasn't hugely quick like someone like Griezmann is.
No, Griezmann's
French. Griezmann's bloody French.
No,
It's happening. Griezmann, Mbappe and Giroud did a front three. Imagine.
I'm making comparisons. He doesn't have that pace that other countries' strikers had. They had similar midfield. They had Iniesta, not the quickest. Fabregas, not the quickest. Xavi, not the quickest. Busquets, not the quickest. Alonso, not the quickest. They still won the World Cup.
But a lot of those, you say that, but it's 8 years on now. A lot of teams have progressed with fast attacking.
You look at France. I don't think France will win it, but Spain, look at France's attacking talent. Look at the pace on those wings.
Yeah, but with my argument of balance, Spain have got the best defence in the tournament, so they'll be equipped to stop it.
Yeah, Argentina have got the best attack in the tournament, so they'll be best equipped to beat it.
Yeah, but Argentina.
I wouldn't go that. I don't know, Dom.
All right, listen. The forwards of Argentina, who I think my bet to win, by the way.
Spain beat Argentina 6-1 in a friendly this year.
Yeah.
Yes. And France threw to USA like 2 days ago. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, sure.
But it
Argentina's forwards: Di Maria, Lionel Messi, Dybala, Higuain, and Sergio Aguero.
So you only need an attack to win a World Cup, do you?
Well, according to you, you only need a defence. So
I never said that. I said they've got a good midfield. I said they've got a good balance across the pitch, going forward and defensively.
Yeah,
All you
Dom,
go through the rest of Argentina's
Dom,
squad.
I've got it here. Actually, I've got it here. You talk about how great the defense and attack is and everything. You compare that to the defense of Otamendi, Rojo, Fazio, Nicolas Tagliafico.
right, first of all, I'm the starting
Christian
right back.
Xavi.
The starting right back will be Mercado, who's actually a decent player.
Their back four will most likely be Mercado, Fazio, Otamendi, and Tagliafico.
No, Rojo will play.
Rojo doesn't play. They normally play Fazio and Otamendi.
Well, okay, fine. Fazio, he's played for Roma, correct?
He plays from now still, I think.
And he's got
Yeah.
He plays for Sevilla, doesn't he?
I thought he played for Roma.
He wasn't.
Well, either way, Nicolas Otamendi is arguably the best Premier League defender this season, right? And 4 years ago when they got to the final, he was nowhere near the level he is at now. And let's not forget, right? I understand what you're saying. As a balance of the squad, right? Then they're not up there with France and Spain, but Messi literally carried them to the final 4 years ago, like pretty much entirely.
Even Argentina's most likely starting goalkeeper is Nahuel Guzman, the Tigres keeper.
Well, no, he's not, because he's not in the squad, George. So most likely, the three goalkeepers they're bringing are Sergio Romero, Willy Caballero, and Franco Armani. So it'll be Romero.
I'm literally looking at the squad now. It's Caballero, Armani, and Guzman.
Well, no, you're not, because I'm looking at the squad as well. It says Romero, Caballero, and Armani on it.
Moving on.
Well, no,
What website are you on?
I'm looking at the Telegraph.
I'm looking at the Independent, mate.
Give me the third opinion. 2 seconds.
Okay, no, I've been proven wrong. I've seen the right one now.
There you go.
Yeah, he is there.
Sergio Romero was starting goal, who is not David De Gea level, but he's a very decent keeper.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a good enough defence in front of him either.
He's got a better defence than he had 4 years ago, and they got to the final.
And what have they got in midfield compared to like Spain and de France when their best midfielder's ever Banega?
Still got Javier Mascherano. Enzo Perez is a good player, so is Biglia.
Mascherano is about 12 million years old.
But you've just gone on about Spain.
Yeah, so is half of Spain's squad. But what's the issue?
You can't.
It's literally not.
But Iniesta is the same age as Mascherano.
But Iniesta isn't likely to start.
Well, okay, who starts for Spain then in that midfield?
Well, I'd suggest it'd be Isco, who's 26.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at, in the holding row, you're looking at Sergio Busquets, who's 29.
Yeah.
Let me quickly get up the Spain squad and see what the likely midfield is.
In the game against Tunisia, they played 2 games 2 days ago. They played a 4-2-3-1, and they had Thiago, Sergio Busquets, David Silva, Isco, and Iniesta all playing.
There you go.
Rodrigo.
So you've got Isco, who's 26. You've got Busquets, who's 29. You've got Thiago, who's 27. You've got David Silva, who, regardless of age, has just had one of the best seasons of his career with Man City. So who's going, age doesn't really necessarily matter.
But what that doesn't make any sense. Why does age not matter? I don't care how good of a season he has. Why does age not matter? He's still old.
Barely played for Argentina.
Iniesta's going to Japan. What's your point?
Because Iniesta's still been playing all season long for Barcelona. Mascherano hasn't, and Iniesta's a much better player.
Yeah, I'm not arguing he's a better player, but Mascherano is still a very good player.
I disagree.
Should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. We could be here all day.
Okay, so I've first said I think Spain will win it. I think Argentina will be the massive disappointment. Dom argued vice versa. Jack says France will win it. Who do you think is going to be the big disappointment in this tournament?
Portugal. I don't think Portugal are going to get out of their group, to be honest with you. This is going to go back onto when we talk about who we think the dark horse is going to be. But I think they've got an ageing defence and they're heavily reliant on Ronaldo and you could argue Bernardo Silva. And I just don't think that they're going to get out of the group.
Okay, that's fair enough. You mentioned dark horses. Who are you going to go with?
Morocco. Morocco in recent times have been nothing short of superb. They were unbeaten in a group which contained Ivory Coast. They've also, in recent friendlies, beaten Serbia and Slovakia, both very good European sides. They've got Benashu at the back, who we all know is a fantastic centre-half. And they've got loads of attacking options. They've got Basufa, El Amadi, Ziyech, Belhadno, and Nordin Amrabat. I know I've butchered half their names, but you all know who I'm on about. They're all very fast, very good attacking players. And I just think on the counter against the slow aging Portugal back line, they're just going to break through them. Obviously, I think they'll lose to Spain, but I think they'll cruise for Iran, and they will. I think they will beat Portugal.
Okay, Dom,
and then it wouldn't surprise me because if they finish second, they play top of Group A, which most likely will be Uruguay. It wouldn't surprise me if they could get a result out of Uruguay as well.
Fair enough. Very optimistic. Dom, your dark horses?
I was going to go Croatia, and I still think Croatia are a very big dark horse, considering the squad they have. Not to mention that the Euros 2 years ago, they, not easily, but they dispatched of Spain in the group stages. I think they have a lot of very good players like Perisic, Mandzukic, to name a few. But I'm actually, last minute change, I'm going to go with our old favourite Serbia. More than just bias, but if you actually look at Serbia's team, it is an extremely, extremely good young squad, with the exception of a few experienced players. Obviously, you have people like Matic, Ivanovic, but you also have very exciting players like Milinkovic, Savic in there, and obviously Mitrovic himself. But yeah, I back them. I think they'll, looking at their team and their results recently, they will get out of their group, and then obviously the hiccup is the fact that they'll have to play Germany, assuming Germany win the group. But as a team and looking at their squad, I think they have the potential to challenge Germany a lot more than any other team would in their situation.
Right, fair enough. Personally, my dark horses, I'm going to back Denmark. I think they're in a very competitive group with Australia, Peru and France. And although Jack said that he thinks France are going to win the World Cup, I don't think France are going to win their group. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think Denmark are going to win Group C, because from their squad point of view, they've got a very good keeper in Kasper Schmeichel. Their defence is huge, like Vestergaard, Jorgensen, Kjaer, Christensen, all really talented, like proper centre halves. Then they've got a lot of flair and pace in their midfield. They've got the ex-Werder Bremen, he's just signed for Borussia Dortmund midfielder Thomas Delaney. They've got the midfielder Lasse Schön, and in Christian Eriksen, they've got their first world-class player since maybe Peter Schmeichel or the Laudrup twins. And then up front, the pace they have it's frightening. They've got the Celta Vigo winger, Pione Sisto. They've got Martin Braithwaite. They've got Youssef Poulsen from RB Leipzig, and Jorgensen, Fischer and Dolberg, all who have had great seasons in the Eredivisie. And I think they will finish above France, because although France, they've got this massively talented squad, if you look at France's recent fixtures, Didier Deschamps can't seem to work out a system which fits in his best players and gets the best results. And that was shown recently in their draw against USA. And I think, although I don't think there'll be big disappointments, I think they will go far, France. I don't know. I see Denmark topping that group. And then if they are to top it, it's not going to be an easy second round game, because they'll get the runners-up of Argentina, Croatia, Iceland and Nigeria's group. But like Jack said, with Morocco, I think they can get a result against one of them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they got a run to maybe the quarterfinals or more.
They are a very good side, and obviously they do have a lot of talent in a lot of places. I just can't see them beating France, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but you can't deny they are a fantastic side. They will finish second. They will get out.
Yeah, I think they'll finish second.
They could test Argentina, because as previously mentioned, their defense isn't the greatest, so they could test Argentina.
Denmark got up front. You know what? I'm going to make a bold claim. If Denmark play Argentina in the second round, they'll beat them.
No, you are right. They very well could.
Well,
They've got.
I wouldn't say right.
Denmark have got a fantastic attacking team, and
The
Argentina's
pace that-
defense is just so lackluster.
The pace that Denmark have on the attack with the attackers I mentioned against that aging and really, really poor in general Argentina defence. I can see Denmark doing it.
Dom is like shaking.
I am
right?
squirming, mate.
He's livid. He's livid.
Fuming.
But going back to what Jack said, I get your point with Morocco, but I think Portugal will get through that group, to be honest.
I think if you're looking at an underdog against a big team, that's probably the one you're looking at as the one that's most likely the underdog will win, if that makes sense. But I think they're probably one of the most talent compared to Portugal's. Obviously Ronaldo, but Portugal do have quite an aging team, with the exception of a few. So, but then you can't forget they won the Euros 2 years ago. So yeah.
That's why I think they'll be such a big disappointment, to be honest. Because they're a great squad.
Yeah.
Going to move on. I'm going to ask you both some quick fire questions. So, Dom, you're first on this one.
Yep.
Straight up, name straight away. Who's going to win the Golden Boot?
Lionel Messi.
Jack?
Mbappe.
Mbappe. I'm going to personally go for Diego Costa.
Whew.
I love how we've all back strikers from the team we think is going to win it.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Golden Ball prediction. Who's going to be the best player at the tournament? Dom.
Second World Cup in a row, Lionel Messi.
Jack.
N'Golo Kante.
Yes. Sorry, I like Kante.
I'm going to go Isco. I'm a big fan of Isco.
I suppose if they got far, you could see that. He's a very good player.
So the World Cup starts on Thursday, and the next time we record a podcast will be straight after the Poland-Senegal game, which rounds off the first round of fixtures. I'm going to assign you both groups as we go. So Group A, Dom. Group B, Jack. And then it'll be Dom, Jack, Dom, Jack, Dom, Jack.
Okay.
So Dom, Group A. Russia, Saudi Arabia. I want the result.
Flipping out.
So
1-0.
win a draw, or who wins all is it a draw?
1-0.
Egypt, Uruguay.
Oh, shit, no, that's hard. 2-1 Uruguay.
Okay. Jack, Morocco, Iran. Big game.
2-0 Morocco.
Portugal, Spain.
2-1 Spain.
Dom, France, Australia.
3-0 France.
Peru, Denmark.
2-1 Denmark.
Jack, Argentina, Iceland.
1-0 Argentina.
Croatia, Nigeria.
1-0.
Dom, Costa Rica, Serbia.
2-0 Serbia. Mitro hat-trick. I mean, double. Sorry, quick fires get to me, Ed.
Brazil, Switzerland.
4-0 Brazil.
Christ. Jack, Germany, Mexico.
3-0 Germany.
Sweden, South Korea.
1-0 South Korea.
Dom, Belgium, Panama.
4-0 Belgium.
Tunisia, England.
2-0 England. Football's coming home.
Jack, arguably the hardest group. Colombia,
Yeah, good
Japan.
2-1 Colombia.
And Poland v Senegal.
I'm going to go 2-1 again. 2-1 Poland.
Okay. Right, that's going to round up this week's World Cup section. For the next few weeks, it's going to be very heavy on the World Cup, but I'm excited for that. We'll move on to the transfer news that's come out of this week. Starting with, we spoke about Fred's move to United, but shortly after, United named that they had signed Diogo Dalot, the young fullback from Porto, for a fee of around £19 million. A player that's played 6 professional games last season and no more in previous seasons. It's a risky signing, isn't it, Jack?
It is a questionable signing, but I mean, the way you got to look at it is, how old is he? I don't know. How old is Diogo Dalot?
Diogo Dalot is 19 years of age.
He's 19 years old. He's got so much time left before he's going to be at his peak. And I think 19 million in today's market really isn't that bad. And I don't think, as much as it is, a bit of a risk, no one really knows who he is, I don't think it's a disastrous signing. And it's just, you're going to have to just give him time, really, just to see how well he can kind of become.
Yeah. Furthermore, Watford, who had Gerard Deulofeu on loan last season from Barcelona, today completed the permanent signing of him for £11.5 million. I personally think it's a great signing. I think he's been doing really well under Javi Gracia. And I think he's an exciting player for a team like Watford, who he's going to develop well next season. The players he's near, Roberto Pereira and Richarlison, the link-up play is going to be very good, I think. Furthermore, the final one that I'm going to talk about is a signing Stoke have just made. They've signed the central midfielder from Nigeria.
Here we go.
Ogunarako Peter Etabo.
That was brilliant. That was first time. That was phenomenal.
Brilliant.
You couldn't see it. You couldn't say opinion at the start.
The Nigerian midfielder started his career at a team called Warri Wolves, which is
What's a
name?
That's my local team. Now you mentioned it. No one will.
Which unsurprisingly are a team in Nigeria where he had an impressive goal record for a midfielder with 23 and 64. 2016, moved to Portuguese club Feirense, 45 games and 7 goals in 2 seasons. And he spent the second half of last season on loan at Las Palmas, where he played 14 games. Stoke recently relegated to the Championship, signed someone who's got 14 caps for Nigeria. It's an interesting signing. Not going to pretend like I've seen him play many times, but I mean, it's risky. We all know that teams who have recently been relegated to the Championship for the first time in a while, it's really interesting to see how their business goes. But spending a lot of money on really an unknown name, it is a bit risky. He's in the Nigeria 23-man squad for the World Cup in Russia. So obviously we can hopefully see what he's like then. But overall, bit of an unknown signing, but hopefully he does well. So I'll hand it over to Dom to talk about a few transfers.
Yeah, I've got 3 to talk about. First one, 2 central midfielder free transfers. One slightly better than the other. Start with the better of the 2, David Myler. He's gone to Reading on a free transfer. Now, we've all got on our opinions on David Myler for certain reasons, but on a football point of view, he's not a bad player, to be honest. Like, if we look behind,
it's a very Reading signing. Considering they've also signed John O'Shea.
Yeah, it's very, he's not a bad player.
Preparing for League One.
But at the same time, he did hashtag it once to celebrate, so I'm not giving him any more of my time. Santi Cazorla, he's a marginally better player. Has gone back to Villarreal from Arsenal on free transfer. Obviously, an extremely talented player with a career that has been very much almost halted by injuries. But we all know this man is a bit of a magician on the pitch. Let's be honest here. He's the kind of guy that would take a 30-yard free kick with his weak foot and put it top bins. Like, he's a bit of a genius.
He is a very good player.
He's an extremely good player. And I'm very sad that he didn't obviously get as much of a chance. He got, played 129 games for Arsenal, but we wish we'd seen him more, because 129 games in 6 seasons isn't actually that much. And obviously the last 2 years, he's barely seen him. So I hope he does well at Villarreal. And the last one is a slightly, not a weird one, but one that's confused me a bit. Mattia Perin, gone to Juventus, £10.5 million. Young Italian keeper, obviously with the departing Buffon, you can kind of understand why they've gone for a keeper. But they do have Wojciech Szczesny, who apparently has improved a lot whilst playing with them. So I'm not entirely. I guess it's just Perrin's. They want young keeper, Italian. That's what they want to keep in their team. But a bit harsh on Szczesny, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have seen Szczesny play this year, or Perrin for that matter, but I'd argue Szczesny seems better
when he doesn't play at all. But yeah, I agree, it's a bit harsh.
No, I think they've said in the games that Buffon hasn't played that he's looked quite good.
Yeah, maybe it's harsh, but hey, Perrin, I'd say is a similar level, so possible competition. So, Jack, we'll move on to you now.
So the first of my 3 is again slightly better than David Myler. Got Douglas Costa joining Juventus for £35.2 million. He is, as we all know, an elite midfielder. He's obviously he's a solid transfer, Juventus. He's been on loan there, and he'll just do a job. Really, he'll just do a job. You've got Terence Congolo joining Huddersfield on a done deal. So another solid centre half who, again, very similar to Douglas Costa, will just do a job. Really, he's a decent centre half, I suppose. And I think the biggest one out of the three in terms of like an actual like for the like the price that they got it at, Johnny Evans to Leicester for 3.5 million. Can I just say that is an absolutely outrageously good signing for that price? I would have, if you'd have offered me Johnny Evans, I would have drove up to West Bromwich and fucking brought him down to London myself for that amount of money. He's so good, like for that price, and I just think that he'll do fantastic at Leicester next season.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So now we move on to the karaoke section of the podcast.
The karaoke? Where's this come from?
No, he keeps me. No, I'm sorry to put it in the chat. Ross, so you are going to absolutely crease. Come on.
Up first, it's me singing Mamma Mia, the Fulham version.
Ibrahima. Look what I put in the chat.
Again. Say, Kenzie, I know you don't want to talk. I just want to know that when you do want to talk or whatever, that can we do it face to face rather than over text? Love.
Hang on. Where did these where did this chat go from? What the hell?
It was while you were talking about fucking like Cazorla. I was on mute the entire time in absolute bits.
Oh my gosh.
Right, sorry.
Let's talk about the winter break.
Yeah, go on, break.
Right, so moving on to the final section of this week's podcast, I thought we'd talk about the global pricing of microwaves.
Stop. Oh, Mackenzie.
It's the fact that he just said that so seriously.
Funny bastard. At North.
Oh.
Right. Are we ready to do the final section? Are we all composed?
We were ready. We were
ready before that. We talked about microwaves. Oh.
Right. So is everyone ready?
Yes. Yep. Go.
Okay. So for the final section of the podcast, I'm going to brush my teeth.
Why is he brushing his teeth? Why has he just brushed his teeth? Why?
This podcast. Let's talk about me getting blue ball.
Right, the final section, as Jack just mentioned, was he got blue balled. He went to a girl's house. She teased his cock a bit, and then said, "That's your lot."
Could you say that? But it's better than anything you've ever read.
It wasn't. No, that. Can I just reiterate how that train journey home was so painful.
So for the final section of this week's podcasts, we'll be talking about something that was announced during the week, and it's that the Premier League from the 1920 season onwards will have a break in February, an English winter break. So what will happen is during those 2-week periods, 5 games will be played on one week, and on the other week it'll be the other 5 games. The FA chief executive, Martin Glenn, was quoted saying that this will give the players a much needed break, but it also keeps the popular Christmas fixture congestion in place. It will also result in the 5th round of the FA Cup games, which were normally on one of those weekends. They will be played midweek instead. What do we think of the break, Dom?
Game's gone, mate. The game has gone. PC gone mad. Not happy. Not happy. I'm not happy.
How come?
Because, well, to be fair, right, the bit about 5 one weekend and 5 next weekend is alright. That's fair enough, right? I get that. I don't like how the FA Cup's been moved midweek. If I'm honest, I very much like having FA Cup on a weekend because if you get, especially if you're in the 5th round, there's a chance. For example, if a small, that's probably the latest you could get really of a small team playing a big team, and something like in lower league. And I just feel like if you put the game midweek, it's gonna get rid of the atmosphere a bit. A game I don't know, say a League One team were playing a Premier League team away from home. I just feel like a midweek kind of kills it a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. of the FA Cup. And I'm a big fan of how it's in February though, because if it had been during that Christmas schedule, I would have been absolutely gutted. Like, there've been riots, but
Jack,
I don't know. I don't like the FA Cup.
Jack, your opinion on this?
I'm gonna have to agree with Dom. I like the idea of the fact that the 2-week break, 5 games on one weekend, 5 games on the next. I don't see why the FA Cup 5th round's been moved to midweek. To be honest with you, I just think it just kind of ruins the whole like spectacle of it, if you will, of like the whole thing. When you think of the FA Cup, you think of like Saturday at 3:00 at some non-league ground with some like 4-4-2 with some bald guy up top. Like it's just like it just reminds me of just like traditional English football. I just think like changing that to a 7:45 on a Wednesday night, you're not going to get the same. You're not going to get the same feeling. But like, I am for the winter break. I just think that it's been poorly executed in terms of the fact that they've picked a time where the FA Cup's on, because that's not just ruining the Premier League. Well, not ruining the Premier League. It's benefiting the Premier League, but it's ruining another competition, which is meant to be the most prestigious cup in English football.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with what you've both said there. Can't really disagree. And with that wraps up the 4th YFO podcast. Thanks for joining me as always, Jack.
No worries.
And Dom.
You're welcome. And
I look forward to seeing you both again in a week's time for episode 5. Goodbye.